Didn't you love that fade out with no vocals? So that way, you know, it can be still on Google, because apparently, you know, Yes would come down here and beat us to death if we use their music.
Most of them aren't alive anymore. Don't worry about it.
No fear there. Not to mention they were all probably 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah. All the originals are gone.
So, this is our first fantasy football show of the year. Well, of the season proper. We've done a couple before. That was as close as we get to political commentary, with Donald Trump calling Joe Flacco and weak quarterback.
Well, Donald knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he does. And there's my logo of built my dynasty team of the Donald, built for 2016. Yeah, I guess I'm really prospecting on the future when you drafted Kevin White and Kelvin Benjamin.
How about my G2K team?
Are you really prospecting on the future?
Aguilar, Perriman.
Oh, he's just not going to be good. Aguilar. That's a bad pick.
Darrelle Revis says he's going to be like top wide receiver in football.
Yeah.
And who would know better than the man defending him?
Than a guy who's never played the position at all. That's like me saying it, basically. Just because he has to cover him means nothing.
He knows. He sees the moves. He sees the... I don't know what he sees, but at any rate, he thinks he's going to be great. That's all I need to hear.
Well, hopefully he gets a quarterback to throw him the ball, not named Sam. This is just good. I'm arguing with the voice of God over there,
Chip Kelly's Mr. Big give away like half the team in the offseason to get Marcus Mariota.
I think it's Chip Kelly's plan for them to be horrible so he can go back to coaching college.
He's always hated Philly.
Yeah.
From his childhood or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, he just comes in. He's going to just dismantle them. And then, all right, I'm back, going back to college somewhere.
What happened was the Kelly family was going on a road trip. And he's like, Dad, I got to pee. So they stopped in a gas station in Philly. And they're like, you can't use this bathroom. And he's like, I'll get Philly back.
Get even with you, Philly.
And this is his plan. Not only will I get even with Philadelphia, I will get what's the word? Cozy college coaching gig out of it. I'll go back and make millions of dollars, and I got even with Philadelphia.
Life is good.
He gets the Scooby-Doo ending for Chip Kelly. Philadelphia Eagles are in the crapper for years, and I get a college coaching gig. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Or maybe he really thought Sam Bradford could be something.
I didn't think so.
Well,
and you know what? I said it because I said he can't stay healthy. He's staying healthy and he stinks.
Well, apparently when we were at the Nuts draft, I guess I never realized that Mr. Tim O'Neill, I don't know what's up with those headphones. I hear him squeaking in your ear. That Mr. Tim O'Neill had such a man crush on Chip
Yeah, I didn't realize it either.
And he was one of these people. I remember I said when we did our first show of the year, I said, here's why Le'Veon Bell really isn't my number one, because if you take him and you go 0-2, you could be up the creek. Well, he's an example of that. Most Le'Veon Bell teams I see are 1-1 or went 2-0 like mine. Of course, I played people who scored like 40 points against my 70 points, but hey, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? I won. So the typical format is we do our starts and sits, and we don't include anybody from Thursday. Excuse me, I had to belch. But I'm going to tell you an interesting story about Thursday. So I get the word on high from the expert. Devonta Freeman stubbed his toe in practice, may not play. So I went into one league and I put in Forsett. And I'm just like, okay, well, I can't do anything else. Then we're sitting eating dinner, and I say to Big B, and he says, oh, well, Devonta Freeman will be fine. Let's take Forsett out. Now, Forsett didn't explode, but he had 15 points, which up until then was pretty unheard of against the Steelers D. Rushing, not passing. We're not talking about passing. So I don't know. And I didn't start Vic in FanDuel. I kept telling you, I started Vic in FanDuel. There was somebody I thought was better, even cheaper. He's not a big name. Yeah. So
I think that's a good choice.
So I'm up $20 on one team because all I had was Le'Veon Bell, and he scored enough points for you to be in the top percentage to win $20.
You have to bench a guy. Everyone does. As many as possible have to, so that he'll go off while he's on your bench, and then hopefully he'll be okay from there on.
I think Justin Forsett will be fine. Is Cleveland really a formidable run defense?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we got that next week.
I don't think they are.
So next week I might be able to start all of my top 3 picks on my 3-0 team.
In week 2, Latavius went for 120, 130 and a TD against him.
Yeah.
When they beat him. So
because I drafted Le'Veon Bell first. It comes back to me and I take Forsett and Alshon Jeffrey. Now this week I'm going to get to play Alshon Jeffrey.
Sorry about that.
Well, I think he'll still get about 10-some points. I'm hoping.
Clausen?
He's got to pick up the system, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't count on Alshon.
This is what you call hedging your bets because they're playing Cleveland or Chicago's playing who?
Chicago is playing Oakland.
Okay, and I picked up the Raiders defense on a lot of teams. So you hedge your bets.
They'll do better.
So there you go.
You.
That we also don't deal with defenses and kickers because you're going to be switching them every week. But if I were to tell you when to start, try to start Oakland.
Yes.
And when to sit, I don't know. Who should you sit? I would sit that Eagles defense because I think we're going to deal with them.
I picked them up all over the place this week.
Nah, I think I picked them up too.
I don't know who you should avoid. A defense you should avoid that you would normally play most weeks.
San Francisco, you can avoid that defense, but I'm not sure you've been playing them.
After week 1, they haven't done anything.
I don't know.
St. Louis. I would avoid St. Louis. They're on the road. They just stink on the road.
They're horrible on the road. Get another team.
Yeah, I've dropped them.
So, anyways, that's what we typically do. I thought we're going to set this up for next week because we don't have Big B's rosters. But I do 7 teams. He does 12. So I thought it would be an interesting thing to pick a player and see if we both can name which teams they're on. I just thought that would be a fun little thing to avoid senility, I guess.
Is this like your version of luminosity?
Yeah. Can you remember? And then even we could get it even tougher. We could look up our draft results and be, did you draft this person or not? And then some ego. What is the word I'm looking for? Ego enters into it, or pride, because you don't want to be like Alshon Jeffrey. Did you draft him, Ethan? Well, yeah, I did. Oh, sorry.
I never drafted him.
See, that was my way of thinking when it came around to me because the app's telling me, oh, Alshon Jeffrey. And I'm like, you know what? I've never had Alshon Jeffrey on a team. Okay, I'll take Alshon Jeffrey. Yeah.
Most of the time, you end up realizing, oh, what a mistake that was.
There's a reason I've never had him on a team. But I got Alan Hearns.
Well, he's doing all right. Nothing great, but he's doing okay.
He's doing better than
Des Bryant.
Devontae Adams.
Than a lot of people. A lot of supposedly better wide receivers.
So, anyways, that's typically our. And let me add another note just for content. I read this yesterday, and now I'm scared because I went with the Falcons in the Survivor Pool. How many 4-0 teams were there in the NFL in the year 2014?
I don't know.
0.
I can't see 7 3-0 teams losing this week, so we'll.
Well, I'll tell you one who I've earmarked that I think it was a trap game was Carolina.
Yeah.
I think they might be one. They're gone.
I've said they're number 7 on my power list of the undefeated teams. They're dead last.
I don't think of Atlanta as really great, but I think they're playing somebody easy, aren't they? Oh, they're playing Houston.
Yeah.
At Atlanta.
They should take care of them, but
Green Bay. I don't see Green Bay not going to 4-0. I know it's at San Francisco, but they'll go to 4-0.
Yeah, they should.
Okay, that's 3. Who are the other 4? Oh, Arizona is playing. Who's Arizona playing? You're supposed to know this off the top of your head. This is why you get paid the big bucks.
Arizona.
Oh, well, let's just say the Patriots won't lose this week.
Patriots are safe.
Yeah, well, they have a bye, so it's pretty impossible. They are playing the Rams at Arizona. Well, that honestly could go either way.
It's a division game, but Arizona will win it again because the Rams stink on the road.
The Broncos are playing the Vikings
At home. They should be okay, but again, because I think the Vikings are better at home. And then one road game when that was just disastrous out in San Francisco.
The Bengals played the Chiefs at Cincy.
Could be a little more interesting.
Is that all 7?
Cincy, Bengals.
Yeah, that's it.
There's none there. You missed. I'm going to say Carolina. Yeah, they're going to lose. We think. Atlanta, Arizona. Yeah, that's 7.
And of course, you have the winless teams. One of them was eliminated on Thursday night in what felt like the longest game in human history. Namely, because neither team wanted to win that game. The other winless team. Well, actually, there's more than one winless team. The Dolphins are still winless, right?
No, they won in week 1.
Oh, that's right. They beat the Redskins. That's right. I forgot about that. Let's see. Are the Jaguars still winless? No, the Jaguars beat the Dolphins.
There's 4 0-3 teams.
Okay, well, was that including the Ravens?
Right.
Okay, so they're done.
One is won already.
The Lions play the Seahawks at Seattle.
The Lions and the Bears in the same division.
That ain't happening. The Lions aren't beating the Seahawks in Seattle.
And the Saints.
The Bears play the Raiders at Chicago. I think they'll lose. Which
Saints
leaves
play the Cowboys at home.
the Saints, who will beat the Cowboys. I know.
That could happen.
And they go to 1-3 also.
That could happen. Since Breeze will be back, I give him a chance.
Well, Breeze is actually not going to play, and Josh McCown's not going to play, and my second cousin Garrett Grayson will win.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. I'm just making that up.
I'll go home and pick him up.
I think the Saints will win with Drew Brees and CJ Spiller. It's called the all-injury team.
Yeah.
Ah, boy.
With that.
All right. So, typically I'll give a starter. Big B gives a starter. Occasionally we have Laura on the show. Occasionally we have Brian Beakey on the show. But this was kind of a short notice thing. So my starter at quarterback, and I'm going out on a limb here, my starter is going to be Tyrod Taylor at home against the Giants. We're kind of loud here. Let me turn this down a little bit. Go ahead. Who's your starter?
I like Derek Carr at Chicago. Chicago's just giving away points to opposing fantasy players.
Oh, that's a good pick. My sit, and I talked about him earlier, it's going to be Cam Newton. I think they're going to have trouble in Tampa Bay. You got to sit here. Don't use Peyton Manning. Come on. He's just awful this year.
Well, even though I have to start him in some leagues, I'm not feeling too confident with Eli. I'm hoping may against that Buffalo D that he'll just keep throwing as they fall further behind, and he'll just get garbage points and end up with a decent fantasy day.
Oh yeah, well especially if turnovers don't count against you.
Well, they do. And most of them.
Well, I don't know. Have they been turning over the ball a lot, Buffalo, or have they just been sacking and getting pressure and just holding down?
Yeah, I saw some interception.
Oh, okay.
Highlights.
This is an exciting thing tomorrow on the East Coast, and I know like Brian Beakey's used to this being on the West Coast. We actually get a 9:30 game. Now it's not a stellar game.
You should have a final before the other ones start.
Yeah. So I have Brandon Marshall going there, just for.
He's doing well. You got to put him in.
Okay.
And I said right away, I think with Fitzpatrick in the quarterback, Decker, although he's injured, and Marshall value that increased right away.
So okay, now we'll go to running backs, and we'll name 2 starts, 2 sits, and obviously we won't do anybody from Thursday because that wouldn't be very fair. What was that? It's probably Yes coming to kill us after playing that song. You're profiting off our song. No, we don't make any money off this.
Mel recognizes.
We don't make any money off this except the money we win with fantasy football.
Well, I wouldn't trust C.J. Anderson. You got to sit him. I mean,
see, I'm going. Now, I'm going to go. My two starters are in fact going to be Jeremy and CJ, just because I need it. I need it now.
I say if you got to put him in, then you got to. But if you can avoid, you got someone else you can put in, a Devontae or a Carlos Williams, and bench CJ.
Carlos Williams. Oh, the guy from Buffalo.
Yeah, going against that giant D.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I feel a little better about Hill, but CJ's just lost right now. That team is where they're running. It's not really CJ's fault. He's had some injuries. I wouldn't be playing him. I'm not putting him in, but that was the whole point with Forsett, too. Now I feel better with Forsett going forward.
And my sit is going to be Joseph Randall.
Joseph Randall.
After his big game, be scared. He's not going to do anything. And I hate to have to keep putting him in, but I really think Matt Forte is not going to do a lot.
It's tough to sit him.
So go ahead, go with your two. I guess you're going to use Carlos Williams as one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as your one of your starts. Who's your second start?
Carlos Hyde.
Okay.
Carlos and Carlos.
Catching lots of balls.
Yeah. They may lose, but they're not gonna get blown out against Green Bay. That defense is,
the spread's only about 350 points for Green Bay.
I don't believe that. And I think maybe you gotta sit Rashad Jennings if he's on your team. You can't go with him this week.
That would have been. You think people actually have him as like an RB1 or 2?
2.
Wow. Okay.
I think so.
You did a shitty job drafting, if that's you.
I don't have him on any teams, but they're okay.
Who's your other sit?
Another sit. Isaiah Crowell, another starter that I just have lost confidence in.
Okay, well, yeah, I can't disagree with that. I'm hoping it leads to my boy Duke playing.
I think they're going to be going more and more with Duke.
There you go. Good old Duke Johnson.
I got him on one team.
You got him on one team? I have him on my Johnson team, which is becoming less Johnsons because I can't deal with Andre anymore.
Some of the Johnsons are really crappy, like Charles, Calvin.
Heck, let's be honest. Yeah, he's not doing too well, too, either. Calvin. And who are they playing? They're playing the Seahawks, so he's going to have Richard Sherman on him. Well, but you got him to start. Not that I'm advocating that. My wide receiver starts are he's going to have, what's his name, Rick Grimes on him? Brandon. But that's fine. He's going to do, like the governor did to Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead. Brandon will be fine with that. As long as he doesn't lateral it back to Phantom player.
Yeah, that was really not a good move.
So I'm going to go with him. I'll go with AJ, who I think is going to keep tearing it up. And the Chiefs have a pretty depleted secondary. That's an untold story here.
I know. That's why I believe that, if you're digging, Marvin might be a good start this week on the other side of AJ.
Yeah, and then I'll go with Randall Cobb to keep his little feeding frenzy.
That's one of my starts because their secondary is a mess too, San Francisco's. Even James Jones is probably a good start this week.
Yeah, but not Devonta Adams.
He's not playing.
Oh, well, that guy's a waste.
I think he's a little overhyped. He's just going to be okay. He's not going to be great, even when he's healthy.
Yeah, and I guess for my sits, I will say, well, honestly, I think you can sit Jordan Matthews or Nelson Aguilar. I'm telling you, I think the Redskins pull that off in a close game. And I think there's not a lot of passing yards had there.
I don't have the luxury of sitting Matthews in a few of my teams.
But,
He's my
typically
strong number 2, so I got to go with him. And he was good until last week, but I think he'll bounce back at least decently this week.
And I'll say DeAndre Hopkins, because even though he's going to get the garbage time points, I think there'll be a long period of time they're just struggling to do anything, and the Falcons will hold on to the ball a long time.
He's supposed to be the next super uber stud.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. Hello, he went to Clemson. Um, there you go. Oh boy, we love those Clemson guys. And then I would say any of the Colts receivers you can sit because I don't think Andrew Luck's feeling well, and even if he plays, it's not going to be good. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville goes in there and beats them.
I believe that when I see it.
Well, Gore's going to have trouble. I don't know.
Moncrief will do well.
Okay. Well, you can keep believing that. Who are your starts and sits at wide receiver? We're supposed to alternate, but we really didn't. We messed that up. We're out of show shape.
Well, I think you can't sit him really, but don't expect a whole lot from Odell.
Odell? Oh, even in garbage time? Well, if there is garbage time, there might not be garbage time in that game.
The Buffalo secondary is good. I think if he's going to have a slow game, this is going to be it.
Man, it's hard to breathe down here. It must be the humidity.
And if you're starting Reuben Randall, where are you in trouble?
If you're in a 20-man league, he's my wide receiver 1. In my 20-man league, I had the 20th pick. I went with running back first. I guess that doesn't make much sense. It's a non-snake draft too.
Which reminds me, thinking about Victor. All these guys who in practice have had setback. Oh, we had a setback this week. Victor, Rashad Perriman, and there's a third one I just read today. And
Watkins?
No. There was another one I read today, and it was like, oh my God, another setback. What are they practicing these guys so hard for?
Yeah, but when you've got a hurt hamstring, you could just be running and hurt it, and that's a setback.
Somebody who looked like he was coming back, but now it's said, oh no, he's had a setback.
Andre Johnson?
No.
Someone who actually might have had value.
I don't know. I'll think of it when we're done, probably. But there's been a bunch of them. I don't know. At wide receivers, I think Demaryius is going to do fine this week, and Emmanuel. I wouldn't be sitting them at their starts, but they're normally starts.
How about how do you feel about Amari Cooper? Will he still be good this week?
Against Chicago, yes. I think Cooper is a good start. That's a good one to bring up. He should be fine this week.
Do you think he will finish the year as a wide receiver 1, meaning in top 10, or wide receiver 2? You're shaking your head. They can't see that because you're not on camera.
I think he's going to be right on that cut line. He could sneak into 9th or 10th and be a wide receiver 1.
Okay, and is Sammy Watkins going to finish as a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2?
I think 2. I'm not ready to say he'll be a 1 this year. Next year he'll be a 1.
Should I have drafted Amari Cooper in a keeping position over TJ Yeldon? Was that a big mistake by me? Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeldon, we'll see, but he could be good anyway too. But Amari was definite. I tried to go for him in a number of leagues at a certain time. I just kept. Oh, there he goes. I waited too long.
Who will be the better receiver from this draft class when all is said and done? When we look back 15 years from now, are Mari Cooper, Kevin White, or is it Tevin Funchess? Whatever
that one.
How his name is, or
Aguilar.
Rashad Perriman, or what? Aguilar's a rookie. Who's the best of those overall career on?
Did you say Cooper?
Yeah,
Cooper.
Okay, I'm going to go with. I think it'll be. Oh, wait, we didn't throw who would actually be into the mix. Dorial Green Beckham.
No, he's the. Who was that guy the Giants had that was like 7 feet 5?
Reuben Randall. Wasn't that Reuben Randall? No, not Reuben Randall. Oh, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, a couple years back, and then he was nothing.
No, that's.
You know what? If they have a career, it's in and around the red zone, not up and down the field.
I'm going to go with Cooper, then White, then Perriman.
I haven't seen White do anything yet, so I'm just not sure. It's all hype, like, oh, he's going to be good. Well, really? Let's see what he does.
No, I'm going to go with Cooper, White, Perriman. Then I'll go with Dorial Green Beckham. Then I'll go with
don't forget Dorsett. He's going to be
good. Aguilar. Then I'll go with Funchess. Funchess is going to be the worst of all, even worse than Dorial Green Beckham.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he's anything great.
Because as soon as Kelvin Benjamin comes back, he's going to be throwing the ball to him. Him and Greg Olson. That's all he's going to look at.
Most of the time, yeah. I don't think Funchess is anything big.
He's getting stood up by Ted Ginn right now.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. And if you think if Perriman was back, they'd be throwing as many balls to Steve Smith.
I still can't believe in like the 12th, what round was it? It was pretty far back in UFFL that I was able to get White.
Yeah, I know. Just got to rub that in.
Nobody took him.
I didn't want to be atrocious this year. But apparently I'm going to be, but no. I'm 2-1.
I'm 2-1. I am also. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be.
I'm only atrocious in boys of summer, but you know what? Every year,
because you do the draft too early.
We do it early, and I really make the best draft I can at that point in time. But then, like now, I look and I said, "What the heck did I draft him for? Why did I think he was going to be good?" And every year it's that way, and my team's pretty lousy.
Yeah, well, I drafted a lot of that team for you, so you could always blame me.
I can this year.
There you go, just blame me.
TY, wasn't there someone better than TY you could have taken?
Didn't I get you Emmanuel Sanders too?
Yeah, Sanders has been fine.
I think Tom has him. Johnson. Tom has him on his keeper team or dynasty team. Well, Emmanuel Sanders is pretty young, isn't
he? He's probably late 20s.
Well, that's pretty young, I guess.
Well, where's the gap? Because as soon as these players hit 30, it's like, well, he's done. He's over the hill now. He's on the downside.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about the dynasty team is I really thought you really just had to basically almost go all in on a lot of rookies because you're not getting any time out of like. I think I had Andre Johnson. Well, there's 5 people designated you're throwing back in, so my big decision on this team will be about Brady. Because does Brady play next year? I don't know. If he wins the Super Bowl, he might retire.
No way. Tom Brady wants every quarterback record that is out there.
So you think I get 5 years out of him?
I think if something doesn't suddenly turn south on him health wise, he will be out there 4 or 5 more years if he stays like he is. I mean, he looks incredible for how long he's been here. When you see him in the commercials and all, it's like, man, he looks like a guy who's in his like 26, 27. He's a lot older than that.
He's 38.
Is he?
Yeah, he's 38.
I mean, that's incredible. And I think he wants to bypass Peyton. You know, he knows, well, Peyton's winding down. He's not going to be putting too much more up. And Favre, whatever he's put up there, he wants them all. He wants to be number 1.
Okay.
That's my theory.
Well, that was interesting. Okay. Well, tight end, I guess you could start. I think that guy, Charles Clay, is going to do something.
Again, he's going against the Giant D, so that's a good choice.
And then I would sit. I don't know. I really think you're right. Might be right that Greg Olson won't go off again. But, tight end, this is why when you do quarterback start and sit, I know you have a differing philosophy than me about this, but I try to really, unless I've gone to the point I'm starting free agent quarterbacks, I'll only carry one quarterback because I don't want to sit and debate it. I don't want to be like, should I start Russell Wilson? This person we know, Candy, the most annoying fantasy football player in the world.
She is
has
the most annoying. Has
Russell Wilson or Carson Palmer. So it's should I start Russell Wilson or Carson Palmer every week? No, that's not what I like to do. I'm going with Brady.
It doesn't drive me crazy. What drives me crazy is having to stream quarterbacks because my number 1 got hurt and I didn't have the number 2. I just don't want to. I don't see the point when I'm drafting to say, oh, let's go 6 deep at running back and wide receiver. I've seen enough where those guys never come into play. So, especially on a 1-season team. With a keeper, it's a little different.
Devonta Freeman.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, to me, first 4 picks at each position are important. I usually carry 5, but that still leaves, what am I going to do with this pick? Get a backup quarterback.
No, I did a lot of those leagues where they, like both the Jimmy's leagues, they decided we're getting rid of a pick. It's like, oh, really?
Well, I told you that the Murrays felt, or at least Dave did, that we have too many roster positions. You thought we should go down to about 12 at most.
Oh my gosh, that really favors people who play the waiver wire. I mean, really favors.
That's what he said. That way, we'd have more picks, and we want to make moves on the waiver wire because they'll be sitting out there. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I've always
Why don't you just have the
it's always been-
nine starters? And that's it. We're just going to draft 90 people.
That would be a cool league, I bet. That would be interesting to do a league like that. You know, you're only going to pick your starters in the draft. So each week you just can decide, you know, you'd be playing matchups with like really good players, you know, like, well, his matchup's tough this week, so I'm going to dump him, let someone else go with him.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
my opponent will pick him up.
I've told you my idea of like you do a league like FanDuel where everybody redrafts every week and you only draft the starters.
Somewhat similar. We won't redraft, but you'd have guys in and out of that you would be amazed, like, wow, look who's there sitting there. But he's playing Buffalo's D this week, so yeah, he's not that good.
You never keep like the same quarterback. Well, obviously, there's like 4 quarterbacks worth 5. If you am I doing my math right here? Is there 5 worth playing every week or 4? Regardless of who your other quarterback is.
Are you taking Luck out of the worth playing list, or still have
for this year? Yeah.
So you got Tyrod.
No, maybe it is only
Brady.
4. Brady, Rodgers.
Matt Ryan so far.
Yeah, Matt
solid.
Ryan 4. Cam so far, if you want to be technical.
Palmer.
5, 6.
Stays healthy. There's just a handful.
Yeah, it's not that many. But yeah, that would be an interesting league. 90 spots. It would be a quick draft. What would it be like?
It would.
30-minute draft.
And you'd have to go into it with the first week's schedule in your hand. Okay, all right. No, I don't want him. We'll go with this guy.
Well, you wouldn't look. It's certain. The first 3 rounds, you're not looking at the schedule anyways. No matter what.
You got no bench.
Yeah, those are helpless headphones.
With no
Excuse
bench,
me.
I think you would be looking at anybody is like, no, I don't want him this week.
Yeah, but if you took like a Aaron Rodgers, you're not throwing him back in. I don't care if he's playing Buffalo.
Quarterback might be my number 1 pick in a league like that.
Yeah, I think so
getting
too.
one of those top 5 or 6 quarterbacks.
You can come up here.
Figuring, yeah, I'm going with them every week. But a running back can be shut down. I don't care how good you are. AP is going to get shut down in weeks.
Yeah, but you're not throwing AP back in. I think there'd actually be less movement in that league than you think, but it would be people like Devonta Freeman. They're getting thrown back in.
I guess you'd have to, like ESPN, I guess you'd have to pay money to get a league where you can tailor it like that.
Yeah, I've got to, as just an aside, I'm not too happy having paid money for CBS. I'm just sort of like.
CBS has always been like, okay. But
well, it's great. We're going to get to choose
better than Yahoo.
Choose the playoff spots, but it's sort of like, wow. I mean, for the amount of money, I was not impressed with the draft. And I'm just going to say next year.
MFL has settled down. We were having some problems there, but it went pretty smooth in our 3 drafts this year.
When NFL?
MFL.
Oh, MFL. Yeah. MFL drafting is better than CBS. I think I'm just going to make the rule next year. If you can't be at the draft, just don't even sign up for my league.
That's what the one guy in my league did. He posted that on the board, on the league board. Like, hey, we want a competitive league, yada yada. It's one of the Champions Leagues, and if you can't make the draft, please go back to your clubhouse page and click the button there. Click the little thing that says Leave League. Sorry to be so rough, but hey, we want people who are going to be into it and competitive. So.
Well, I just want to point out, and I don't begrudge people this, but it's an observation of mine. Last year in Nuts, we had everybody here. Ethan finished 3rd. This year, it looks hopeless again. I think part of it is I'm sitting at the draft having to tell everybody, oh, this is who we picked. Okay, what's your pick? Let me put your pick in. And I barely have time to think about mine. It's all visceral. When my pick comes up, oh, okay, who's left? I mean, it's literally.
I think every year in G2K and UFFL, I won't count Boys of Summer. And those other 2, always have one missing. We're so close, but we always have one person who is auto-picked.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to say, if you can't be there, let me know because I'll replace you. It's not a keeper league. I'll replace you.
Do your really best, go above and beyond to find a date that's try and get one for everybody.
Yeah, because I did so much better when I didn't have to worry about anything other than I write down the pick they made. I don't have to tell people this was the pick. Okay, who do you want? Which And that's the other thing that bothers me at draft time. One of these days, I'm just going to be like, okay, this is the firm timer. You don't get your pick in. You get whoever comes up on my screen. Because it's baiting people into, okay, make your pick. Come on.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do that when you make that rule, you end up breaking it because all of a sudden, oh, he's drafting a third or fourth tight end here in the middle rounds. You can't let it. Then you got a team that's just a waste of time.
Well, that's
So
fine.
you got to try and
but if they're all here, nobody's going to do that. That's only a computer pick team.
That's only when someone's missing.
But I have made that observation. My best year nuts. Now, some of it could have been luck was last year. I mean, maybe I'll wind up doing better this year. I doubt it, though, because I just think it's just too much work for one person to sit and do and draft a team. But that was my little
harder to win in football because
violence playing because everybody knows everything. This is the other thing. There's no more like nobody's a whole lot less knowledgeable than us.
Just the way things are going. I mean, with all the suspensions combined with the early season injuries that we've had, I'm having trouble on at least couple teams like fielding a starting lineup.
Well, and ultimately, this is it's becoming a different animal because football used to be a lot more running. So there was one person getting the ball.
It's changing. It's evolving. I agree.
But
you got to be able to see that and learn from it. And
I do think you're a little better off when the season starts earlier because this was like a year that even the procrastinators had enough time to do their research.
I'm beginning to think that maybe it's time to get rid of the entire preseason games and go to an 18-game schedule.
I think maybe something. I just think this year the procrastinators had time to do their research. But there's
maybe put in 2 bye weeks.
Okay.
Split them up.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And give the players a chance to recover and heal up and don't get injured with more games, but then give them a couple buys in the whole season. That way it will stretch for 20 weeks. We get more football each year.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. We just need I don't know. I read this big article in the off season that said sleepers are dead in fantasy football, and I think they're right.
Yeah, they're still there.
And people download, like I downloaded that Joe Bryant Fantasy Football Dominator app, and you can sit and I bet you I sat and did 100 mock drafts on that.
Did you?
I mean, because it takes like three minutes. Oh, here's my mock draft. Okay, but there's my decision. Tells you how it did. Here's the strategy if you do this. Here's the strategy if you do that. And, then you get into a real situation. We're kind of going off on a tangent here. I apologize. We'll get to the starting tight ends or Big V starting tight ends. Well, this is pretty appropriate. Where, like, I was in your league and I'm like, oh, this damn thing's telling me to take Gronk. Do I take Gronk and take the risk on getting anywhere close to a number 1 running back coming back to me? So I took Gronk. And, well, at the time, I thought, what a major coup, because Jeremy Hill came back to me. It might still wind up being a major coup. But I had done that strategy in my mind and on the app like 10 times. So there's just not a lot of – I mean, I don't want to say I think fantasy football is becoming less challenging. It's just becoming more – it's becoming different. More and more luck. Because you have undoubtedly so many games where – I mean – the most consistent producer, well, he's a quarterback. I don't like to mention that. I was going to say he's been Tyrod Taylor this year, but that's a quarterback. Most of the quarterbacks are consistent producers. Even the ones you're going to get later are pretty consistent producers. The most consistent running back got me. Well, over 2 weeks, it's been
19 and 20 points for Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Coming right out of the gate, 2 games in.
But for the full 4 weeks, I don't know who's the most consistent running back. Got me. Devonta? Well, no, because he just had a big game, and then you're averaging that over.
Because Tevin was starting over ahead of him until he got hurt.
So
I don't know if anyone's had 3 notable games. I mean, AP, the last 2 have been good. The first one was a disaster.
Well, he started running out of the eye, though, so.
Marshawn's been a disaster.
Yeah,
Jamal Charles has been pretty darn good. I don't know if he's had a dud game yet in 3. And he had a big one in week 3.
He was my number 1 pick in my first top 10. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because I thought you missed those 2 games. But, okay. So that's why I say I think it's becoming more luck. And wide receiver is even worse than running back.
Yeah. Antonio was dud the other night.
I think Amari Cooper's been one of the more consistent ones.
He hasn't had the touchdowns. He's had some decent yardage in all 3 games, but got his first touchdown the last game. And that jumped his numbers up to looking much better.
Well, Odell's been okay, I guess.
Julio's been a monster. I'm sorry. Julio has just been incredible.
Well, there were 2 people who Joe Bryant said are super elite receivers, and they were Julio and Antonio. And Antonio didn't do anything overnight. So
I'm telling you, Vic's not going to get him the ball. And I'm going to be pulling my hair out. Do I bench him?
Oh, come on. We're just not even going to pay attention to that, or we'll start calling you the most annoying man in fantasy football.
That one was for you, Candy.
Tight end? Well, okay, Gronk. Yeah, there's been a consistent tight end.
There has been.
Gronk and Kelsey. And even Olsen's been pretty consistent. So maybe
Olsen really didn't do much the first 2 games. I didn't think.
Oh, I thought he did. I thought he had a touchdown.
In the 3rd game. He had like 9 or 10 combined points the first 2 games.
Oh, I thought he was doing all right. Well, So maybe you should go quarterback.
Eifert was doing good for 2 games. And then
yeah, well, he got a goose egg. Maybe you should go quarterback tight end in the first 2 rounds. They're the most consistent anymore.
I think my start this week
at tight end. Here we go.
Jordan Reed.
He does pretty good
because there's not a lot of targets for Kurt. Let me throw an interception Cousins. So Reed's a good receiver out there, and I would go with him. And I will back up your Clay pick as a good one. That's off the top of the list.
If he had a quarterback who could actually throw him the ball on a consistent basis, he would have had 3 touchdowns last game.
Yep, I know.
And who's your sit?
Well, I would have to say, I don't want to mention him.
Then don't.
I guess I shouldn't. Kyle Rudolph.
I got him starting on a team because there was nothing better.
I'm sick and tired of Kyle Rudolph.
Let me ask you this, and we'll end on this. Why do you think? And this is why I think they won't win a Super Bowl. Okay. Are you ready for this? This is Ethan's shocking theory. If you look back, every team that's won the Super Bowl, right? I shouldn't say every, but let's say a high percentage, 90-some%. They've had a good tight end. Why is it Green Bay doesn't have a good tight end?
I don't know.
I mean,
to me they would be so hard to defend.
So
they got everything else. They got a potential stud at every other position. They don't have a tight end,
and they won't win a Super Bowl because of that.
Well, they did win one, but I don't know if they'll win another one without it. I don't know. You would think that would be.
Well, I mean, that's why the Patriots are a dynasty.
Every draft, we got to get a tight end, man. We got to get one, or if you can pick one of the good ones up in free agency.
But that's why the Patriots are a dynasty because of Gronk.
Yeah.
And, who else has won multiple?
Well, it's not the only. It's helping. They're a dynasty because for a lot of reasons, I think.
But even the Steelers, they've won 2 Super Bowls with Heath Miller. I'm not saying Heath Miller is a Hall of Fame tight end, but he serves the purpose on their team. And Green Bay, they don't have anybody who can even serve the purpose of a Heath Miller.
No one that good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean,
pushing Richard Rodgers now. It's like, well,
if Jordan Reed went to Green Bay, he'd be their starting tight end.
Oh, in a moment, yeah, he would be. He would be. Giants won a couple with
Mark Bavaro
and Howard Cross, who was underrated, but a very good tight end.
And the Redskins had, when they won in the early years, they had Donnie Warren. What's that his name? Yeah. They don't have anybody even that good. I don't know. It's just one of those perplexing things. Well, we're going to try to be back next week at around the same time. So we're just going to put an amen to this. I'm going to see if everybody's still out of sorts upstairs. Until next week, you can watch. I haven't listened to their Monday show, the Shockmasters Entertainment Hour. This is on the Free State Radio Network. And then the Vast Right Wing Conspiracy on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock with Jimmy, Tom, and Paul. There you go. I said that just like the the Fiverr guy says it.
Mm.
And Wednesday night, I guess they still do Lock and Load with John and Andy Maroney. Really good people. The Maroneys, they're really good people. I like them a lot. And then Thursday, Tim and Paul do a show. You know, other Tim, not tall,
O'Neill.
relatively handicapped Tim, not to be mean, but that Tim. Yeah, he has been playing football fantasy football since '98. So when we had him in the Free State League, I thought, oh, he's pretty good. I should get him in the Nuts League. Now I wish I hadn't. Should have gotten somebody worse. And then Friday, I guess Jimmy and I will try to do another ruckus type show.
This is the guy sitting at the end of the table.
Yeah, the guy who brought the wings. Nice guy. But like I said, he's been doing it since '98, so I knew he'd be good. But that, now I wish I had gotten somebody not quite as good.
I don't know if I played with him. Was he in Free State last?
He was in Free State. I think he finished third. I think you and I got him in that one. But that was only 8 people, so. But he's good. He is good. So, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All righty. Well, we're going to try to be back next Saturday at a reasonable hour. I don't have any takeout music. So until then, stay classy in fantasy football. Hope you win some of your games this week.
Good luck, everybody.